Okay, here we go. Just got a few quick things here before I'll cut you loose working on this activity here. Just one general announcement, and especially for those who are staying here for lunch. You know, some of you may just go home and all that stuff, but those that are staying for lunch, just remember when you do go to the lunchroom, you go there and you choose your seat, do the QR code, and know that once you have your spot, that's your spot. You should focus staying there. And so it seems like we may be having some issues where people are up wandering around, and you're not really supposed to do that, especially for the idea of contact tracing. And as we see, there's been a little uptick here with people that are testing positive. So it's very important that you remain seated during lunch and that you do the QR code, all that. And when you're not eating, you have your mask on. But when you are eating, you don't have to have your mask on. And I know that sometimes is a little different, though. It's like you go out to and you take your mask when you're eating. It's like, oh, this is what it feels like. So you have that. But then in general, also, when we're not in the lunchroom, out walking the halls, make sure that we're wearing our mask correctly. You know, covering the nose. Mask is doing its business. Make sure we're social distancing. Make sure we're washing our hands. All that stuff. All right. If the problems exist, continue to exist in the lunchroom, then there's a chance that they may move the lunches to the classrooms. And I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing, if we want to move those into the classrooms. All right. So that's just a little message from Mr. Herbert. All right. So after that, how's our day? How's our day going? Pretty good? All right. Remember, there's a blood drive that's going to be happening next Friday. So I believe next Friday is the 9th. I think that'd be correct. Wow. I'll just be zipping by. But, you know, it's a good thing to do. I know I get the phone call quite often because I have O negative blood. So they give me a call a lot. And when I do give, I give double. I think it's Power Red. So I double the dose. So I stay in the chair a little bit longer than some as we do that. All right. So that's a good thing to do if you're into giving the blood. All right. So with that, we should be today working on our case study, and we'll do that in a moment. But I'd like to throw out the thought, since we are dealing with governments out there, and those at home as well, you can put into the chat your thought. But when we talk about government in general, and it could be these authoritarian style governments, it could be our own government, it could be, again, how we are governed. Is it important to be ruled by people like yourself? Is it important to be ruled by people like yourself? And if you don't like the word rule, we could say governed by people like yourself. Is it important? What do we think? I see some heads going this way. Anna, why do you think it's important?
Because that means, like, if you have like the same ideals as this person, there's like a bigger chance for them to make a change. That's good.
Okay. Most likely you're going to get a change that will have a good outcome, a positive outcome that you like, right? Okay.
And that means like you have like that person actually understood like how your community works and what was needed to be done.
Okay. All right. Does it matter what level? Because you threw in the word community in there. All right. That speaks to and when I hear that, it kind of speaks to a level of government. You know, if we talk about the CG, you know, that means that person could be very, very effective. Now we get to like the state of Minnesota, like a governor, we have a lot of different communities. And if we think of the president of the United States, now we got way more communities. So that person at the top, let's say the president of the United States, is important to be that person to be like you. Is that saying that? Even at that level? You guess? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't want you to, All right, there we go. All right. Just throwing some thoughts out there. Anyone else? In the chat, you can put your response to the prompt as well. It's important to be ruled by people like yourself. I think when President Barack Obama was in office and he had one of his come and meet the presidents in the Oval Office, there's a photo of a young boy touching President Obama's hair. And touching his hair, and then he touches his hair. And the message is, here's a president who has same hair as I do. And that was very, very powerful. So maybe for that young boy and for others, it was important to have a ruler or a president that looked like, does that mean more? And perhaps maybe it does. Maybe it does. So when we think of, because some of you are focusing on countries that gained their independence because of colonial wars, perhaps, and they no longer are led by a European country. Now they are led by people from their own region, their own country. Whether they are all on the same page, is it important that they are by individuals like themselves? Maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. All right. Something to think about. Something to think about as perhaps as we progress and we have more elections out there. Maybe something to think about. All right. So for just some general thoughts here before I cut you loose here to work on this, I do want you to, when you think of this case study, really look at what you're focusing on. And the background is going to give us the context behind the individual. All right, whether it's the personal upbringing and factors that influence them, conditions, whatever, but also we're looking at perhaps the background of that country, which leads then to the rise. What kind of conditions exist? We always talk about, like, around the Great Depression time, how the Great Depression allowed for someone like Hitler to rise to power, or allowed to rise FDR rise to power. It's hard for us to envision or visualize FDR as an authoritarian or a dictator because he's an American president. It's like, that doesn't get into our frame of thinking. But here's a guy who's been elected 4 times. And he wielded some pretty, he wielded a lot of power based on what was happening. And so you could make some cases for it. But still, the conditions, what's happening in the country as well, and the methods that these individuals use. Hitler outmaneuvered some of his opponents, utilized fear, all that stuff comes to play here. Consolidate methods again. How they consolidating the power beyond just fear and terror, perhaps. Or maybe that's just it. Maybe it is. If we were looking at Papa Doc, terror was a key part, and boy, his secret police were accused of engaging in voodooism. So that's wow. Maintain policy, successes and or failures. It's okay to talk about some of the failures as well. And decline, here is where we might think of, what's happening. Health could fit a part here. For many of these authoritarians, their health could just give away. That's their decline, perhaps. A coup happens. Be sure that you take time also to spotlight the learner profile. All right, I have a handout of that online, or if you want a paper copy of those that are here, I have a paper copy up here. And also you want to make a case. So I need to hear your case for why you think this person is a totalitarian. And that's where you're using that characteristics, those characteristics that we used to judge and assess Hitler, Stalin, and Mao. So you're doing the same thing here. All right. And then visuals and video clips. I mean, it's the 20th century. It's a visual era. And there are some little clips out there. If you can insert maybe a 2-minute clip. Some of these individuals are well documented. All right. And plenty of visuals out there as well. Right? They create cult of personalities. They like to see themselves. There was, they used to kid about Leonid Brezhnev of the Soviet Union. If there was ever a public pool shut down, it's because he's using it to develop his photos that are going to be in the next parade. They're going to be that big. They like to see, again, they like to see themselves. All right, and sources, again, make sure that you are documenting your sources that you're using. And any of those handouts that I have attached in that folder are books. And so those at home, if you need that information, I can hook you up with that information for your citations, or those that are here, the books are up on my table that you can use to find the info. All right? Is there any overall questions on what needs to get done, or if you have any questions? There's a.
How long do you want the presentations to be?
How long? Boy, I'm always hesitant to say, but I think down there I have 7 to 10 minutes, but if it goes longer than 10 minutes, and you're fine. I would say if it's really short, you're gonna need to go in. Given a quick overview of it, and so this is where I talk about depth versus highlights. All right, what do we got? Well, I wouldn't want to put a 5-minute clip in, and then all of a sudden you're speaking for 2 minutes. All right, so it can include the clips, yes. Yep. Any other questions, concerns? I look at today and tomorrow is kind of the big day to get your information. So where Thursday and Monday, it's all being compiled into your finished product. That's how I think in my head. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, R&D. Thursday, Monday, completed. All right. So with that, if you have not shared with me your topic, which I think I have most of them, if you have not shared, please let me know or send me a note. And those at home as well, send me a note in the chat or through Schoology of which topic that you're going to focus on here, okay? So with that, I'm going to cut you loose, let you work on this. Those at home, you can stay on, ask questions, or you can exit.